This pack of wreath rings is only $2.88. They're already gold and would make such a cute little set. Pair it with something like this eucalyptus. Really cute. In fact, I think we should get that and do that. Let's try it out. So I have my 3 rings that I purchased, and I also bought 2 of the eucalyptus garlands and some floral wire. This floral wire I actually had from Dollar Tree, but you can pick it up at Walmart as well. I'm just gonna cut off little pieces of the floral wire and I'm gonna wrap it around. I want my garland to be about half of the wire. Then I'm going to bend my garland back and just have it go back over what I already put on. And I'm gonna hot glue that in place. So I ended up having 2 layers of the eucalyptus garland. Next, I'm gonna cut off any excess floral wire and I'm gonna hot glue it in place. Now I did pick up some of those lavender sprigs that I saw at Walmart. I'm not going to use the lavender, but I really liked the greenery that was on that piece. So I'm just going to cut off little pieces and I'm going to put them sporadically just to make it look a little bit more full and natural. Next, I'm going to move to the medium wreath and I'm going to probably use about 1/3 of the wreath to put on my eucalyptus garland, and I'm going to attach some of those lavender sprigs as well. I did the same thing with the smaller one. My first hack is how I use these glass containers in my kitchen. These are so affordable for Walmart. I love grabbing a set of 3 of them. You can put snacks in them, your baking goods. So if you don't want to put your scoop inside your container because they always get lost, you can get some of these mini clear command hooks. Put them on the side of your container and then your scoop will hang nicely and you can just pull it off to use it. So you can grab your beads at Walmart. You get 12 for $1.77. I think it's a better deal on Amazon. I'll link the ones I use down in my Amazon storefront. So along with my beads, I also grabbed some royal blue fabric dye, faux suede cord, and these greenery stems. I'm going to start by taking my beads and just lacing them onto the floral stems. I'm going to fill up about 2 of these because I wasn't sure exactly how many beads that I needed for this project and I wanted to make sure that I dyed them all. So I'm just going to put them on there loosely and then I'm going to bend the ends so that they're held onto the floral stems. Next, I'm going to mix some water and some royal blue fabric dye into a container. Make sure you wear gloves for this and just mix it around. Next, I'm going to place my beads into the fabric dye. Now, what you want to do is just watch them and get them as dark as you want them to be. It's going to have a cool effect to it where they're not going to be completely coated, but just get them as dark as you want. Once you like the color, take them out and just let them set. Once they completely dry, then you're going to add beads to your stems and then use some of that suede cord to make a handle at the top. You're going to cut off any excess pieces. You're gonna shape your handle so it works as a towel holder. I placed this on a nail on my wall and this is perfect for hanging towels in your bathroom or kitchen. So I have an idea for a wall hanging that I want to do. I'm actually going to head to the thrift store and find some frames, but at Walmart I'm picking up a bunch of different greenery. So I have things like this, I also grabbed some of these cute ferns. I don't even know what that is. There's some boxwood, so I'm gonna show you how to put something together really quick and easy for great wall art. You cannot beat the price of frames at the thrift stores, so I wanted a collection of 5. All of these frames are priced at $1 each. So I'm going to start by removing the backing. So I'm just going to use my wire cutters to pull these out, and then all the contents in the frame, I'm just going to pull that out because I don't need it. Now I didn't do any additional prep work to these frames. They were in really good condition. If you want to give frames from the thrift store a cohesive look, spray them all the same color. I'm using a flat white spray paint, and I just did about 3 coats. Next, I'm going to add in some of that greenery we picked up from Walmart. So I'm going to use my wire cutters, and I'm going to work on one piece at a time. So here I'm putting in the ferns, and I'm just going to concentrate on putting them down in the lower corner. Now with these frames, I'm going to change it up. Some I'm going to put in the lower corner, some I'm going to put on the top, some on the bottom, just giving a variety so that it'll make a really nice wall grouping. Now here's a trick to cover up where you have all of your ferns meeting. Take some little pieces of leaves, and you're going to hot glue those on top of where you put all your glue. Next, I'm going to use the eucalyptus garland, and I'm going to concentrate it on the lower half. And then I'm going to add in some additional leaves and making it nice and full. I love this little hanging plant, and I thought it would look cute going up and over. I almost want it to look organic, kind of how it's just laying there. And again, I'm going to cover up the bottom part of my stems with a eucalyptus leaf. I'm going to continue adding greenery to the rest of my 5 frames. Now the way that I like to hang these on the wall is first I like to put them on the floor in the arrangement that I want them to be in. Next I'll use command strips, and I'll just put them on the top of these frames and then push them into the wall. You want to make sure you get them on there really well. And I love the way this grouping turned out, and it was super inexpensive. Now, if you have a drawer of just overflowing sacks like I do, and it's driving you crazy, here's a better solution. So you want to pick up any cereal container style storage. Next, you can just place all of your bags into the container, and you can stuff them in there pretty good. Next, just put the lid on, and anytime you need to use one, you can just easily pull it out. So much better than a bag drawer. So do you get annoyed with cords for appliances? I know they drive me crazy. I found this solution that I think is gonna be such a game changer. So I found these cord bundlers. So I'm going to stick it to the back of my appliance and then wrap my cord up in it. That way my cord is going to stay hidden if it's sitting out on my counter or if I have it put away. Love this idea. You guys asked for pet DIY, so I'm gonna grab one of the Walmart collars and I'm gonna show you how to make a really quick bandana. So the first thing you want to do is size your collar to the size that fits your pet, because you're not going to be able to adjust it once you put on the bandana portion. Next, these squares are so nice, they're already cut. Next, you're going to fold the fabric in half so that it lays very neatly and you don't see the back part of the fabric. I'm going to be using the Scotch spray adhesive. This stuff holds in place so well. You're just going to spray it on your collar and the back side of your fabric, and then you'll fold it back over and press it in place. Let that completely dry, and then you can give it to your favorite pet. Walmart has these great 4-tier carts, and if you're like me and don't have a pantry, I need a place to store drinks. So I'm gonna use this cart to store all of our drinks. All right, so that took about 2 minutes to put this cart together. You can just keep all your drinks on this cart and pull off the ones you need and throw them in the fridge. I'm loving this bowl. It's $3.24. It's plastic. They also have one for $6.24, but I'm gonna pick up this $3.24 one. We need to pick up a copper finish spray paint. So I've seen a lot of high-end candles in bowls, so that's what I wanted to recreate. So I'm gonna use that copper spray paint and give it 2 coats of spray paint on the outside of my bowl as well as the inside. Next, I'm going to be melting down some candles that I had left over from projects I did from Dollar Tree. I also picked up some of these candle wicks off of Amazon. You can get them in a huge pack and they last forever. I'm gonna hot glue them to the bottom of the bowl. If you boil the candles, it takes about 20 minutes for them to melt down. So I'm just going to melt down the candles and carefully pour them into my bowl. Next, I'll just cut off the wicks. This is a really easy way to have a high-end candle look for inexpensive. I'm always looking for storage solutions in my bathroom. One of the things I've been doing for years is putting turntables in my bathroom. These are great for loading them up with your bathroom product. I like adding my hair care products. Then you can just turn it around and pull off whatever product that you need. Such an easy solution. If you love to DIY, you definitely should be subscribed to my channel. I post new DIY videos on Mondays and Thursdays, so hit that red subscribe button so you won't miss out. Walmart also has these wood crates for $12.42. I have a really great idea in mind for one of these. Perfect. The first thing I did with this crate is mark lines at 3 inches in. Then from there, we cut down the top 3 slats on either side, creating an opening. Next, I grabbed a new stain color and I'm gonna stain like I do all of my pieces. I'm just going to put on 1 coat and then I'm gonna wipe it away with a cloth. Now, the longer you let the stain on your piece, the deeper your color is going to be. I typically immediately wipe it off. And I'm gonna stain the inside as well as the outside of this piece. I'm gonna grab these adhesive stencils for $2.97. I wanted to personalize this for Moose, so I'm measuring to see where the center line is, and then I'm gonna use these sticky stencils to spell out his name, as well as some Waverly white chalk paint. I love how these little Waverly stencils stick to your piece, so they're not gonna move, and they work really well, and they're also reusable, so I really like these. Now, once that had a chance to dry, I'm just gonna add in the little dog bed that I purchased for him. Boosh, look, look, Mom's got a new bed for you. Look, Mizzy, you see your new bed? Do you not like it? No? So I have a fun idea for some coasters I want to make, and I need to get some embroidery thread. Walmart has, look at all these different colors and options. I'm gonna get this one right here. It's $4.24 and it's a bunch of different green colors. It's gonna be great. For this project, you're gonna need nautical rope. I purchased mine at Amazon. I'm gonna link it in the description box below so you can get the exact one I use. And then you're also going to pick out 3 thread colors. You're gonna start by making a circle. You're gonna start wrapping your nautical rope by putting glue on the side of it. You want to make sure you don't use too much glue so it doesn't squirt out the top. Next, you're going to pick one of your threads and you're going to glue it to the back side of your nautical rope. Next, you're going to wrap the thread around so it completely covers your nautical rope. And then when you have as much as you want, you're just going to glue it down. Then you're going to continue wrapping. This is a very free form project that we're doing so that you can put the thread whenever you want. I'm gonna go with my next color and start wrapping it around. Now, some of the colors I put a little bit more, some I put a little bit less. I don't want them to all be consistent. And I'm gonna continue wrapping my cord around. I'll wrap it around a couple of times and then I'll come back in with my last thread, which is the white. And again, I'll repeat that process of just wrapping around, gluing it on both ends. Now, if you haven't guessed yet, we are making coasters. So once I have it the size I want, I'm just gonna cut off my nautical rope and glue it in place. Now I'm going to be making 4 of these coasters and I don't want them all to look the same. Some of my other coasters, I may start with the white thread or start with the green thread, but I'm going to try to make them all the same size. And this is a really fun rustic coaster that you can put out on your coffee table. Walmart has some of the best prices on over-the-door pocket organizers. This one we've had in our house since we moved in here, which is probably now 5 or 6 years ago. Let me show you this one because it's a great system. This is where we store gloves, hats, scarves for our kids. So down on the lower level, we have hats, then we have gloves, scarves, and I tell my kids to pick maybe like 2 or 3 that they want to use all year. This is more of like our summer section. They put their little glasses in here. This is my section, which is pretty small, and then up here is Chris, so he can store all of his hats. I'm telling you, this is the best system that I have found for storing all of those winter things that get lost. So I have an idea for this container for $2.97. They have some really cool jute twine, like this white one for $1.74. Yes, please. Now their succulents are more expensive than you would pick them up at Dollar Tree, but some of them are a little bit better quality and worth it. If you wanted to do an air plant, these are $3.47. They don't have something similar to that at Dollar Tree. And then they also have some larger ones down here that are around $5. That's really pretty. So I'm gonna take the glass container as well as this twine. I'm gonna start by pulling out 8 long pieces of twine. The longer the better, because once you start tying knots, it gets smaller. Once I get my 8 knots pulled out, I'm going to take it and tie it in a big knot. This is going to be the bottom of my container. Next, I'm going to take 2 pieces and tie them in a knot so that the knot will be right at the bottom edge of my jar. I'm gonna repeat this so I have 4 knots all together. And then I'll spread it out over my container so that I make sure that all the knots are even. Now I'm going to take those 4 knots and I'm gonna separate them. So I'll have 1 string from 1 knot and I'm gonna tie it in another knot. You can kind of see how I'm doing this. So I'll do that with all 4 of my knots and I will create 4 new knots. Now I'm gonna do this process again, pulling and creating another knot. So it creates kind of a webbing of knots. Once I have those 3 layers of knots in place, I'll pull up all of the pieces, make them as even as possible, and I will tie a knot at the top, and then I'll tie an additional knot and cut off any excess twine. I added in rocks and that air plant from Walmart, but really you could put in anything, and I think this makes a great plant hanger. So Walmart always has a huge selection of organizers that are really affordable, but this new set that they have are amazing. You get a pack of 3 for under $10. Let me show you how cool these are. They're like these really deep organizers, so you can put the lid on top, so you can open it that way, but they also have these front little like garage doors where you can put things in. I'm gonna take these to my office and put all my craft supplies in here. Walmart has really inexpensive frames. I have a project that I want to do in my room, and I'm going to pick up 4 of these frames for $6.84 that are 16 by 20. I also grabbed 4 white poster boards. I wanted to update the wedding frames in my room because they've been around for a while, and I just wanted something a little bit more modern. So I'm gonna take the poster board, I'm gonna create my own mats. So I'm cutting them down to be 16 by 20 based on the size of the frame. Next, you could see this little template. For some reason, I didn't get a video of me tracing the template I created. I just cut out a template that I created on Word, and then I'm gonna use a rotary cutter to cut it out. I'm gonna center it up around my picture, making sure I cut off all of the excess. Then I'm just going to take my picture, center it, and then I'll put some painter's tape on the back. And then I'm gonna add it to my frame, add in the glass, and that's all there is to updating these frames. I'm gonna repeat this with all 4 of my pictures. These were pictures that were just hanging on the wall in my bedroom, and the frames were kind of mismatched, so I'm excited to have them all looking the same now. These systems are so great if you have a small kitchen. Now, if you have a small kitchen like I do, you want to try to add in as much storage as possible. So I love using my cabinet doors. At Walmart, they have this over-the-door storage. It's perfect for keeping things that I grab frequently. I love all of their glass containers. This is gorgeous. This smaller one's $6.88, this one's $11.88. We're getting both. So I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I picked up some glass paints off of Amazon. Now I've never tried this before, so this was kind of a new experiment. I'm gonna be using the blue and green color. So what you want to do whenever you're glass painting, from what I learned from doing this, is you're going to do thin coats. On both of my containers, I ended up doing 3 very thin coats. It also dries very quickly. So when you're putting it on, you wanna make sure that you don't have any excess paint anywhere. You wanna brush it and make sure it's blended in as nicely as possible. So I did a thin layer on each of them, and then I went in additional layers. This glass paint in no way covered it completely, but it gave it a really kind of nice looking frosted look. So in the end, I really like the way these turned out. The more paint you add, the deeper your color is going to be. So I stopped at 3 coats, but you could probably add even more coats if you wanted it to have a deeper look. Now, once it has a chance to dry, the directions tell you to bake it for 2 hours at 176 degrees. So that's what I did, and then it tells you just to naturally let it cool. I added in some candles that I picked up, and I love the way these turned out. You'll have to let me know down in the comments what you think of them. So I love picking up my laundry hampers from Walmart. They have a ton of selection. The one in my camper is from Walmart, but they also have features that make it so much easier. This one in particular that I'm picking up has this really cool handle on it, so I can move it up and down the stairs. It also has wheels. Our laundry room is on the main level and our bedrooms are upstairs, so this makes it so much easier to tote my laundry baskets around the house. You guys, check out all of this awesome wood stuff. I just found this little salt chamber for $5.98. I have something in mind for this. I grabbed this gold knob that I had in my stash. It was from Amazon. I'll link it for you below. I'm gonna use some E6000 to attach it to the top just to create a fun little dish. And I'm gonna add in some salt that I can keep out next to my stove. All right, if you guys like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, and I will talk to you in our next one. Bye.